Hi there everyone. So today I thought I'd make a little bit of a different vlog. I just kind of thought, do you know that you can make a new garment from an old garment? I know we see it on the Sew & Be every week, but some of those things I think we maybe consider aren't fully wearable, but we enjoy the process of the idea. But it is entirely possible to take something that you might have made before, or might even be something that you've bought before, and rather than looking at it as a garment, look at it as the fabric content. And by taking it apart and looking at how much fabric you've got and possibly combining it with another fabric, or if you've got a little bit left over in your stash, if you've made it yourself, it is possible to turn it into a totally different garment. And that's what I want to take you through on today's vlog. Now, it's probably going to be in stages. I'm starting it on recording it on Friday afternoon, but I'm already a little bit ahead. But I just wanted you to think, I'm taking a dress that was the Tilly and the Buttons indigo dress. Hopefully I'll pop a picture in if I can find it, which I made maybe last year or the year before, and it's too big for me. And I knew that I was probably going to have to do something with the bodice at some point, so I did have a metre of material on my shelf in preparation for that. However, I've done things where I've took a jersey dress that I bought when I first started sewing, and it was starting to look a bit bobbly around under the arms and things, and I just took the fabric that was in the skirt and I turned it into a t-shirt. My friend Lynn, she has taken one of her partner's shirts that he didn't want anymore, and she has made it into the most beautiful Donny shirt. It's like a blue linen fabric. You could turn things into, I'm going to try and do dress for dress, but you could turn it into shorts, you could turn it into a top, you could do like there's some of the patterns where it's encouraging you to use bits, so you've got maybe a different panel down the middle to on the outside, or maybe you might do something where the skirt and the sleeves are one fabric and the bodice is another. Things like that. Just let your mind run a little bit, because I think it's easy to think, oh, that just maybe needs to go to charity, or I'm just not wearing that anymore. But I do think we need to stop thinking about those things as a garment and think back to when they were a precious fabric that maybe you sat on your shelf, and how could you repurpose that fabric. So we'll go through that in step by step. I'm going to talk you through what I do and the decisions that I make. The dress that I'm aiming to make is kind of my 12 version of the Fleur dress by Fabric Godmother. So I'm going to try to take the indigo dress to a Fleur dress with just a little bit of spare fabric that I've got. So fingers crossed for that. And I'll talk you through kind of what size and things like that I've done as per normal. But for me, I've always kind of got into like let's get the sleeves out of it, let's get the skirt off it, what can I do? And now it might be something else. I've turned some dungarees into some pull-on trousers, so it can be anything. Let your mind run away with it. Could be, if you want to show a bit more belly than me, it might be that you take something that's maybe a bit oversized and you could create something like the Friday Pattern Company Swearo top. The back of that is in one panel, but there's nothing to say you couldn't put a seam in the back of it. Do different things, try it out a little bit. So you might want to just add some embellishments to things just to make it look a little bit different, not maybe change it up as much. So here we go. What I've already done, because I did start this yesterday, was I've took the bodice, this part here, so it's this, another one of my Liberty Dupe Hello Kitty ones. Have you spotted Kitty yet in there? Let's see if you can find her. They're all over. Love this fabric. It's a lawn, and it does sound like from the pattern instructions like a lawn is suitable for this fabric. So I have just took the bodice off at the moment, and I've not done anything else with that, and I have separated that from the skirt. Now the beauty is this already has a ruffle on the bottom and it's already hemmed. I can't see it needing to go any shorter, but if it did I could just shorten the ruffle. So I'm already ahead. So effectively what I need to do is make the bodice and join the two together. Now I've not made this pattern before, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Now when I laid this against the skirt pattern piece, I'll drop a picture in. It's about, I'm going to say a good 4 inches short of the width of the fabric, which is probably going to be about 16 inches on the whole skirt for the size that I've done. But I'm still happy to give it a go, because as an indigo dress this was quite gathered and had a nice shape, but I'm aware that the finished dress won't be as maybe as floaty or as big a skirt as the Fleur dress is meant to be. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, more than happy to give it a go. What things do I need to consider then? So out of the pattern pieces that are left to make, I've got the bias binding, which I don't think I'll get out of the bodice, but there are 6 ties which I definitely think I'll get out of it. There's the placard, and out of the extra fabric that I've got, I'll definitely get the bodice out of that. I might get the sleeves, but if I don't get the sleeves, I'm thinking that these were the sagebrush top sleeves, so they're quite gathered anyway. So I might be able to repurpose these sleeves into the new sleeves. They might go straight in, but I'd like to try the actual pattern. Now, I have cut out the sleeve pieces and I've compared it against the length of the Judy dress, because I feel like I've got the length of those sleeves spot on. They're very similar, have sort of a cuff that goes around. So I'm going to add on 1 inch to the length of the sleeve piece on the Fleur dress, and then that'll give me a go for where it's at, and that seems to be comparable in length with the Judy dress. Hope that makes sense. So the next thing is to get on with the rest of the cutting out, and yeah, just see how that goes really. So I will be back with you very shortly, let you know how I've got on. Hi, so yeah, I'm really happy with how that's gone. I've managed to get all 6 ties out of the bodice. The length was just enough that I've managed to get that out of various parts, like the higher pieces of the bodice. The neck binding I've managed to get, but that's not cut on the bias, and I think there's still enough left out of bits and bobs that I'll probably be able to get that actually on the bias, so I'm going to redo that one. I'm not really good with bias binding round necks, so I've been having a look at some vlogs for some tips of how to do that. I tend to flip to a facing, but I do want to get better at bias binding on necklines. So that's one of the things I want to try and conquer a little bit in this project. I've managed to get the cuff bindings out of it, so that's 2 pieces. Now obviously you've got to consider things like direction and things. There are obviously some fabrics that there isn't such an obvious direction and you can turn things around, but you do need to be mindful of that. And then you just need one of the placket for the placket. Why am I saying it like that? For the front. So I've got that as well. Really pleased with that. And out of the fabric that I had left, I have managed to get the front bodice and the back bodice. Now I've gone with the D cup for the front bodice. Looking at my measurements, some of you advised me to size down a little bit, so I really appreciated that. When I did my measurements, they were kind of in a few boxes as per normal, but I had a look at it and then had a look at the finished garment measurements, and I think I'm okay. So I'll let you know. I think I went with the size 18, which is pretty standard generally, so I'm hoping that's okay. And obviously if not, then if it's too big I can run it in. If it's too small, well, hey ho, that's the point of doing a toile. And I did manage to get the sleeves out of that as well, which means I've still got some bits of fabric in case there's anything else that I do need. And as I say, I'm going to definitely try and cut the bias binding on the bias, because I do think that's probably one of the shortcuts that I do. I kind of think, oh, I could just put that strip on there, but actually it's not giving me the stretch that I need to go around the neckline. So it's looking good. I've definitely got all the pattern pieces that I need to get on. So the next step is to get some sewing done. So don't know if I'll be back on camera today. Might be tomorrow, it might be Sunday, but I'm definitely underway with this project. So come back to me and I'll tell you how it's gone, any other tips, and just let your minds wander. Have a think, is there anything in your wardrobe that you could maybe take the bodice off, turn it into a skirt? You know, if it's a gathered skirt, there's nothing to stop you putting at least an elastic waistband on it, or putting a seam in it and putting a zip in it and doing something different with it to create a different skirt. Hope I've got your minds running a little bit with that, and I'll be back with you soon. So, as you can see, I've progressed. I actually really loved how it came together. I was just kind of determined to get the bodice binding on today, and then of course I did that thing where you just carry on. So I made the ties using the, what's it called? The belt loop attachment on my cover stitch machine, only because I've not used it yet and I wanted to have a play, and that worked really well. I'm really happy with those. I did do a bit of adjustment, I'd not quite got them in the right position, but I'm happy with those now. Next, finished with the bodice binding. I've got to say that went on absolutely fine, and I cover stitched that round, not that I had to, just because my machine was threaded up. I did add on that extra inch onto the sleeves, and tempted to take it off. I don't think it needs it, and I have attached it to my skirt. I'm going to try and move the camera so you can maybe see. So I feel like I could just bring this in probably maybe 1.5 centimetres to take sort of 3 centimetres out of each side and just bring it in slightly, so it just makes the top slightly more fitted. But I'm going to stop now. I work tomorrow, and I was going to go over at 3 o'clock and do some setting up and prep for tomorrow, and it's now 6:30 and I haven't. So it might be Sunday before I come back to you with the totally finished dress with those final adjustments and have a chat through it and show you some pictures of it then. But so far so good, so yeah, fingers crossed. Hello, well, it is quite a few days later, in fact almost a week later. It's been very full on. I've been covering for a colleague, so I've been full time all week, and then just had a couple of things happen, so I lost track of a bit of time. I've not actually worn it yet, but I've tried it on. I will pop some pictures in, and I really like it. So I'm not wearing it. This is a bell dress that I made a few weeks ago. I'll pop a card in which the link to this vlog, which is the Frock Tales vlog. I know lots of you have seen it already. So I just thought I'd pick it up and chat to you about it. So what do I love about it? I absolutely adore the sleeves. These are a perfect length for me, and I took that 1 inch off, and I'm pleased that I did. So the next time I make it, I just make the sleeves as per the pattern. I really love the bodice binding. I'm really happy with the finish of that. I'm happy with how the neckline comes together and the ties. This is a slightly stiffer fabric, but I think in viscose it would look really drapey and lovely. I've not adjusted the fit. I know I talked on the last section about maybe bringing it in at the waist. I've not done that yet. I had another look at the description of the dress, and it does say online that it is a loose fitting dress. So I've left it loose for now. I'll possibly wear it on Sunday when I go to a Stitching Time, my social sewing group, and maybe see what I feel like the fit is then, and maybe ask some opinions. But if I do bring it in, it will just be slightly at the waist, as I said. Yeah, so there will definitely be more of these. I'm quite keen to make another one and make it in viscose. That'll probably fall into my September plans. I did just want to say that because I think this is different to the Nell dress. Obviously that's a v-neck, but this one has the placket under here. So I would never wear anything with buttons down at the front, because I'm quite large busted and I'm always really conscious of gaping, and I don't feel like that at all. I feel very secure in this dress, and the placket, it crosses over by quite a bit really, about a good 2.5 inches maybe. So I just feel very secure in it. I don't feel the need to put any other fastenings in, but you could. But also I'm just going to tuck that top one out of the way. So if you can see here where it does cross over, I've not attempted to pattern match in this at all, but you could definitely, if you wanted to, maybe extend the right side pattern piece to make sort of like a facing and interface the strip and turn it in, and you could definitely add buttons and buttonholes on. So if you feel that the ties aren't for you, but you like the sort of the shape of the neck, the fit, the sleeves, etc., that would be a very easy adjustment to make on it. And it might be that you like the idea of maybe a couple of buttons and a tie at the top, so that's just a suggestion, or you could button it all the way up. So I thought I'd just mention that as well. Obviously I just added the skirt on, and I did put the ruffle on. I'm just checking the original pattern. Does that have a ruffle? It's a week since I looked at it. I can't remember if it does. No, it doesn't. But obviously if you wanted to, you could add that in. And yeah, I just really like it. It's very me. You'll know if this sort of dress is your style. But it would be easy to fit it more if you wanted to. However, obviously if you made it too fitted, you might not be able to kind of get it up and down. So just be mindful about that. But yeah, there's nothing about it that I don't like. I'm really pleased that I've made it. I'm extremely happy with it, and there are definitely going to be more Fleur dresses in my life. So if I haven't said it already, I'll pop a link to the pattern in the description box. I know it's been around for a couple of months now, lots of you will have seen it, but it's a definite yes from me. I was ready for some different sort of loose fitting dresses, and I think this one is going to tick that box very nicely. I have got some more patterns to make up in that genre that I like, and I'm over the moon with it. So thank you for staying with me today. If you haven't already, give me a little subscribe. That would be amazing if you're happy to. And then you'll just get some notifications when my vlogs come out. Generally, I post on a Friday, but I am going to start to try to get into Friday and Sunday, or Friday and Monday. So there will be another vlog coming out on Sunday, 2 days time, which will be part 2 of my fabric haul, because all of the fabric is here now and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. So thank you for staying with me. Give us a little thumbs up, chat in the comments, tell me what you do or don't like about the Fleur, or what you're making at the moment. Bye for now and take care everyone.